Hey guys, welcome back to Nature's Cadence Farm. Today we're going to be working on our Honda Recon, and this is about a 99 2000 model. I'm really not actually sure. Maybe we can find it on here somewhere. But today I've got a problem with the battery. I tried to start it up one day. This is probably 3 or 4 months ago, and it was dead. And I was like, oh, maybe I left the switch on or something, or I didn't run it long enough and cranked it a long time. I couldn't really remember, so I put the battery charger on it and topped it off and pulled it off maybe the next day, and it started right up. So I was like, okay, well that's cool, and drove it around a little bit and parked it and tried to start it up the next day, and it was dead again. So I said, okay, it's time to get a new battery. I did check the charging system, which we're going to do when we put the new battery in. And so I decided at that point, okay, let's get a new battery coming. And so I did. So what I've got here is the new battery. It's something I got off the internet. And what I'll do is I'll put some links down below for the battery and any tools that we're going to need. So check down below in the description. And so what I've got here is this YTX 12 BS. So YTX Yankee Tango X-Ray 12 TAC Bravo Sierra. I've got a new battery here, and we don't need this box anymore. We don't need this packaging. So I'll just set that right there. So to remove the seat on Rico here, this is so our daughter Squeak, she named the Honda Recon Rico. So let me get you in here a little closer so I can show you how to remove the seat and how to get the battery out of here. So to remove the seat, you'll have this little lever right here on the left-hand side of the rear of the seat here. Forward would be where the handlebars and everything are. So you pick up on that, pick up on the rear of the seat, and it pops right up. And then kind of pull it down and out. You'll feel it just release right off of there. So once we have the seat off, you can see the battery is right here. And I'm gonna get you a little bit more overhead here so we can show you how to get this strap off. So here's the battery located here to the rear of the seat area. This is where the seat interfaces with these little suspensions here. So we've got this rubber kind of tie down on here. And remember, this battery might still have power on it, so just don't, cross over these two terminals here. What I'm going to do is pull up on this strap a little bit and give it a little slack down toward the front, and that'll allow this little strap to pop right off. And then if you've got a flathead screwdriver, you can just kind of get that out of the way, and we'll set that to the side, and that way we can get this battery out of here. So what you'll need now is a 10 millimeter. I just have a deep well and a little 3-inch extension and this 1/4-inch ratchet. I'm going to start with the negative side first, and that should pop right off. Hopefully you still have the factory screws in there. If you don't, just kind of figure out what you have. Looks like I got some hay floating around in there. And what I'll do is when I get this battery out of here, I'll clean this battery bay out a little bit. So I'm going to save the old hardware. I'm not sure if I'm going to need it yet, but we're going to put it to the side. Go ahead and pop that off of there. And then over here we've got another 10 millimeter. Back that off just like that. Set that to the side. And set over here. So now the tricky part, not really, but wiggle and jiggle this thing out of here. Usually they got a bunch of junk packed around them, stuff, and it feels like this one does too. Here we go. So there's that rubber kind of anti-vibration mount, and we'll put that back onto the new battery when we go to put that on there. The old battery was an AGM, and these work really well. This lasted a long time in this quad. I went with this sealed lead acid. It was very affordable. These batteries, the AGMs, are very expensive, and I just wanted to kind of get this thing going. We'll see. We'll see how long this lasts. Ask me in a little while, a couple of year or so, and see if it's still working. But I did not charge this at all. It should have plenty in it, but you can see the terminals line up perfect with the layout of the old one. So I've got the old anti-vibration little thing in here. It's impressive this is still in here from 20 something years ago, but it's still there, so I'm going to put it back in there. I'm just going to clean out some of this junk in here while we're in it. Might as well. Sure, we don't melted terminal. Somebody had a winch on here at some point. I did not, but somebody did. Probably what that was. There's just a few little things down in here. Clean all that stuff out of there. All right, so we'll go back in with our new battery, and what I'm going to do is just slide these nuts. These are square nuts, so they'll kind of lay down inside of here, inside of the battery, to grab those bolts when they go in. And I'm just going to double check to make sure these old bolts, I like these old bolts better, they have a nice washer on them, that they'll actually thread into these new nuts. Yes, and they do. Perfect. So whatever size those are, M6 or M5 or something like that. But if you have this set up, this will work for you. So we got that, and then we got one more nut I need to slide in here. There we go. So just get those in there like that. Pull the wire out of the way, and right down in there. All right. So we got our new battery. Go ahead and hook up the positive first. That way, if we touch the frame, we're not worried about arcing anything or shorting anything out, because the ground isn't hooked up yet. And then we'll worry about getting the ground hooked up. So just threaded that down on there. I'm looking, yeah, and it caught the nut already. So that's perfect. I'm not going to go guns a-blazing on it, because I know that little nut down in there is probably not, not super strong. But we'll go ahead and get that one started too. There we go. Feels like that got a good bite, and that got a good bite. There we go. Okay, cool. So we got the battery in there, and the next step is putting our little seat belt back on. And here's the seat belt. So what we'll do is we'll clip it into the back, and what I'll use is the screwdriver here to kind of push that little metal part right here underneath the plastic hook. And then up here, I'm just going to pull enough tension on it so it'll lay right over that hook, and then I can use the screwdriver to push it on there. That's back in place. What I'm going to do is go ahead and check this battery for voltage, just to make sure everything's okay before we get started. So I've got the multimeter on DC setting and 20 volts, and I've got the polarity like that, red in the plus and minus, black in the ground, or minus, or whatever. Well, your multimeter might be different, so just kind of read your directions there. So let's go ahead and get on this battery. So I've got 12.89 volts. So what I'm going to do now is go ahead and start the four-wheeler up, and we're going to see if it's charging. So I got to pull the choke, turn the key on. It's going to be a little loud, so it might kind of muffle the sound, and I won't do a whole lot of talking, but you'll see me put the meter leads back on this battery right here, and you'll watch the voltmeter. Okay, well, there you go. You saw the voltage went up to 14.62, I think, or whatever. So that means the alternator and everything is charging, which is great. That's exactly what we wanted. We want to see a difference between the standing voltage of the battery and the charging voltage of the charging system on the quad here. So we're going to go ahead and get the seat back on there and take this thing for a test drive. To get the seat back on, what we're going to need to do is make sure these little hooks here that are attached to the seat, that they go actually underneath of these little metal tabs right here. There's one here and one here. So we'll kind of slide it in at an angle like that and then get it started, and then it should just push right down if we have it in there right. There you go. Kind of pull up on this handle a little bit when you go to push the seat down, and that'll help kind of get everything lined up right. So there you go. All right, we got everything installed here, got the battery back in, got the seat on, and I'm ready to go for a little test ride here. So we're going to pull our choke out. Right here, it's on your steering column. Turn your key on. Make sure your little green light is on for your neutral. And we're going to go ahead and start it up. There we go. Perfect. All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.